In this video, we're going to be looking at the circumference of a circle, and the circumference is the distance around the outside. Okay, so when they're straight lines, we can usually work these out, but when it's a curve, it's a lot more difficult. So first thing we need to do is to understand some other parts of the circle that will probably be involved in this question. So this line going across the very middle of the circle, so make sure that it goes through the center. That blue line there is called the diameter. So the diameter goes all the way across. It could go like all the way across there as long as it goes through the middle. But we're mostly interested in the radius, which is halfway across. So in the GCSE, they often give you the diameter, and most of our formulas involve the radius. So if the diameter was 10 centimeters going all the way across, we would divide that by 2 to get the radius, which is half the distance. Okay. Now there is a formula that you can remember for the circumference which involves the diameter, but I would stick to the radius because we're always interested in the radius when we're talking about circles. So what is the formula, this formula that I'm talking about? It's one that you need to learn. They don't give it to you in the exam. C for circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius. Okay, so you might see that as just 2 pi r. There's invisible times signs in between, but 2 times pi times r is the formula that we need to learn for dealing with the circumference of a circle. Okay, how do we use that in this example? Well, circumference C equals 2 times pi times the radius. So if they gave you the diameter of 10, you would halve that, and that would go in there, the radius of 5. Okay, and what is pi? If you're not too sure, pi is just a number. It's roughly 3.1-ish. So we're just doing 2 times 3 times 5 essentially, but a little bit more. Pi is a little bit more than 3.1. So we go to our calculator. 2 times, we have to find the pi button, which on my calculator is shift, and then this times 10 button here, and then times 5. And when I press equals, the calculator does something strange. It does 2 times 5, and then it leaves the pi there. Okay, because as mathematicians, we prefer 10 pi, or 10 times pi, compared to 31.41592653, whatever. Okay, this number here is not really useful to us, whereas 10 pi, leaving it with the pi in or in terms of pi, can be useful. So the question may ask you to leave it in terms of pi, which would look like this, or they may ask you to round your answer in some fashion, like 3 significant figures or 1 decimal place. We press the SD button and turn it into a decimal. Okay, but all we did was multiplied 2 times pi times the radius.